Next Monday is Australia Day. It's usually a time for Australians to get together and remember or just understand really how blessed we are to be in this great country. I was born here. I love this country, and I will be damned if I see this great country fall into the hands of communist dictators. I'll be damned if I see this country fall to Islamists. I will be damned if I allow that to happen because I love Australia. The things that make Australia great, our values, our culture, our heritage, everything about Australia is incredible. Now, some people may go, "Oh, Jay, what about, Captain Cook? What about Invasion Day? What about all the Indigenous people?" You know what happened? You know what happened on the 26th of January? People seem to think, oh, it was an invasion day. It was when the colonial masters went on the sand and they automatically started killing people. They automatically started killing the Indigenous Australians. You know what happened when they first got here? The first settlers, when they got here, lots of them were sick. If you don't know the full history of Australia, not just the radical leftist version, but the actual real history, a non-biased version of Australia's history, then maybe, just maybe, you should do some research. Now, the fighting happened way, way later. And you know why that happened? It was over land. But before that, there was not much fighting. Before that, there was actually civility. Before that, the Indigenous people actually helped the settlers that were sick. Now, obviously, people will go, well, Jay, the Indigenous people have been here forever. They're like the oldest generation. What the hell were they doing when they were here? Not much. They weren't. I mean, this is not to be disrespectful at all, because I've got Aboriginal friends and I love them to death. And they've made a lot of themselves, believe it or not. They're quite well off. And it's because of what we did. Now, sure, there are some horrible things that went on. I'm no doubt about that. Like the whole stolen generation thing. That was horrible. That should never have gone on. I'm in no way, shape, or form condoning that. Neither am I condoning all of the wars that took place. But the Aboriginals also killed white men too. So one's got to lay the blame to both parties here. But, oh, Jay, no, that's not true. That's not true at all, because they came here and they made their lives better, did they not? They brought lots of things. And if it weren't for the first settlers, we would not have Australia. All of us would not be here today. And sure, there's mistakes. But why is it that in Australia, we have this concept that is being pushed heavily now that it's Invasion Day? We can't celebrate Australia Day. Why not? You really think that Australians sit there on the beach with, having a barbecue, and they're honestly thinking about all the terrible things that the white man's done over the years? No. Australia Day is not about celebrating anything like that. Australia Day, as we need to educate people properly, I might add, is about celebrating how blessed we truly are to be in this great country, even though we have communist dictators that are trying to destroy this great land. Now, if you're telling me that you have generational trauma or trauma in general from your past ancestors that you are now using to your advantage, do you really think that your generational elders would be complaining? Oh, we were invaded. Our life got absolutely worse, more worse. Do you really think they would be complaining? The thing is, the Aboriginals have helped a lot since then to this land. Don't know if you're aware of that. They know how to cultivate this land when it comes to bushfires and all that sort of other stuff. But there's a lot of Aboriginals that have contributed to what makes Australia great. Kathy Freeman being one of them. Sports icon. Amazing. One of my best mates. Happens to be a businessman. Very, very smart. His father, great man as well. I never met him, but I've heard lots about him. And from what he tells me, my goodness me, very wise man. Lots of Aboriginals, salt of the earth. There's lots of, like Jacinta Price, for example. Look at her. What grinds my gears is, this is amazing. You have actual Aboriginal Australians that love this country and will celebrate Australia Day. And then you have the radical dingbats that, for whatever reason, are just victims. You don't understand how good you've got it. You really don't. And what's amazing to me is seeing this video of this Muslim woman wearing the burqa, a symbol of oppression. She's wearing it and telling all of us not to celebrate Australia Day. Have a watch of this.
And a lot of people might be wondering, why am I talking about the 26th? What does this have to do with anything? If you have the same energy towards Free Gaza because you understand it's a genocide, then you need to have the same passion towards the country that you're living in or the one that you're currently staying in. This country is built off that as well. This 26 is not a good day and it shouldn't be celebrated. And the people who do celebrate it, it's kind of past the point of you not understanding. Like, it's all over social media. Everyone is aware that it is not a day to celebrate. So please respect the original owners of this land. And if you see that, you know, some of your friends are going or something like that, don't join them. Educate them, share this around and help get the word out, the fact that this day is not a day to celebrate. Please.
Says the woman wearing a symbol of oppression over her head. Who's really the oppressed one? Yeah. Right? There's many videos like this. There was an Indian guy that was saying that he's now the new Australian. And we've got the white Australian. We've just got to accept it. And we're not actually really Australian anymore. Because the influx of Indians, that makes it more Australian, supposedly. Now, I grew up in a multicultural Australia. Grew up with Filipinos, Indians, Arabs, you name it, Zealanders, Samoans. Love them all to death. You know why? Because they came here, assimilated. Some of my best mates are Filipino. Came here, assimilated. They love this country. They love the history, and they would die for it if they could. That's what makes us Australian, isn't it? I don't care if you're brown, you're black, whatever. I don't care. What I care about is, do you love this country? Because this country has given you everything. And guess what? The white Australian has given a lot more. The Europeans, the Greeks, the Italians, they came here, they worked hard. They assimilated. You had the Jewish population. They came here post-World War II. They helped enormously. See, this dingbat, the woman in the burqa, we need to educate her. In fact, she's been indoctrinated heavily. Now, what's amazing to me is that this woman claims to be Muslim and tells us not to celebrate a day she claims is an oppressive day. You see the irony here? She's Muslim, wearing a symbol of oppression, telling us not to celebrate a day of oppression. Right. You know what? Bugger off. Go back to where you came from. Don't love it, leave. Stop complaining. Because guess what? Mark my words, if you were in Iran, if you were in any Islamic country, you would not even be allowed to say anything like this. Face covered or what? You're meant to be silent. You're not meant to say a thing. How about that? And do you see in any other country, do you see this kind of statement not to celebrate well, Australia Day or the 4th of July or anything along those lines because, well, day of oppression, people are upset. It baffles me how you've got this crowd that want to change the date. They want to change the date to some day in the middle of January. Ain't going to happen. You know why it's not going to happen? Let me tell you why it's not going to happen. Because it doesn't matter if you change the date to the 25th, 27th, whatever. It's not about the date. Although they'll try their very, very hardest to make it about the date. It's about the message behind the date. And until such time as you change that, we're up Craps Creek for a very long time because it won't matter. People will still claim we don't want a date. We just abolish the whole thing altogether. Watch our politicians on Australia Day. You watch them. They will virtue signal a living hell out of this because, as we know, the Abolish Australia Day debate has been growing enormously. So has the pro-Palestinian debate. And they're like joining forces, apparently. We've got too many radical dingbats in this country. Too many that hate it, that they don't appreciate what they've got. Like what that Muslim woman was saying. Like, don't go with them if you've got any friend that is celebrating Australia Day. Why not? You're missing out. But you know what? Good luck to you. If you want to miss out, so be it. I don't give a toss. You can bugger off for all I care. You dingbat. Forget it. I am going to celebrate Australia Day because I am going to celebrate what makes this country great. There's so many things that makes this country great, albeit at the moment, Albo and his crony officials are trying to take that all away. And again, I will say it, I'm not going to let that happen. Australia is too good. They call it a lucky country for a reason. Let's keep it like that. Hey? That's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.